Now that Wildstar finally stopped shitting itself on the first day of release, here's the first impressions video I'm going to attempt to do. Hopefully I don't have the same problem I did last time when I crashed at the end of character creation. Then found out there's a maintenance 5 minutes after I was like, screw this. Anyway, since the story is something I'm not particularly familiar with, I'm going to start as the race I always pick, the humans. Hell. No, thank you. Rogue. And let's go with the standard warrior, because, well, that's what I always play. Go with the soldier, because that's the path that fits best with that. So just gonna stick with that. No, there's no better ponytail option. Can I get less freckles? No, apparently not. Nope. It's mildly annoying. No, well. Put in the name. Okay, let's see if it works this time. Maybe? Alright, since this is apparently going to take a while, I'm going to talk about who I am. As you can tell, my username is DOSbillion. It's something I picked with when I started playing DDO, because, well, I was in a rush and didn't have any better options past, because the name I was going to use was taken. So, this is pretty much standard right now. For those who actually go on that site. I also wrote the Crooks review for The Escapist. In the next couple weeks, going to be reviewing something else. Not going to say, because, well, there's going to be an embargo on it, and I don't want to unintentionally break that. Even though I haven't signed anything, I still don't want to worry about it. But yeah, if you see anyone in an MMO or anything with the username DOSbillion, that's been me. And this is still taking forever. And my controls are disabled. In case anyone's concerned about the amount of dead air I'm leaving, I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to leave it all in, but I want to show, at least for right now, I want to show just how long this is taking. Because I started playing the Hellgate Global Beta the day it started. That was a game that basically kicked everyone out pretty much the first day. And you logged in, you played for a bit, you got booted. And it's still going better than this is right now. Which, if you haven't started playing this yet, which for, time purposes, it's currently approximately 11:25 in the Eastern time zone, I believe. This is after probably 2 or 3 hours of waiting in a queue. I'm not particularly sure how long it was because around 9, I think, was waiting on the queue, exited the game, went to do something else. Then when I went to log in again at 10, when I figured the queue was going to be empty, it had gone from about 1,300 people to over 4,000. Which you didn't miss it if you missed it earlier. There's plenty of servers in the North America section now. I'm on the PvE server. There's PvP, but I hate PvP. Usually because a PvP server means banking. Granted, I doubt anyone who's playing is going to be high enough level, but I honestly have no idea. On Twitter, some people are complaining about lag, but that might be the cause of this, but this is just stupid. It's like, this is published by NCSoft. They should know better by now. I mean, I don't remember hearing about any problems with Guild Wars 2's launch. Of course, granted, I didn't get that until a few weeks after it released, so I might have missed everything. It's like, I've been in a few betas, and this is... ArcAge had a better release in this, and that was handled terribly. Which, speaking of betas, if I remember correctly, I was actually in the beta for this back when it first came out. I played it a little bit because, well, it was boring as hell. It's like, oh, I've done this like 8,000 times. The class and path combination was mildly interesting, but not enough to really keep going. When it comes to MMOs, okay. I don't even know how many I've got installed. So I just finished reinstalling WoW overnight. So I got that. Technically Diablo 3, even though it's less MMO and just MO. Let's see, then I've got Rift, Defiance, Warframe, Vindictus, Dragon Nest, probably 2 or 3 others that I can't think of off the top of my head. Even, as I said, Vindictus, which seems to be almost infamous for its lag issues, goes better than this. because at least when I try to play Vintages, it actually lets me into the goddamn game after 10 seconds. This is incredibly boring. Kind of sad, really. The longer this takes, the lower my opinion of the game gets, and right now it's hovering somewhere below the Old Republic. The game that actively limits you from playing if you aren't a subscriber. Because some student at EA thought, hey, if you're not subscribing, it's a good idea to chop off 25% of your experience. I really hope people who are playing are actually having fun, because I'm certainly not. This is when I wish I kind of had a tablet, because frankly right now, my opinion of Game of War is slightly higher than this game is right now. And considering it and my internet career before it even started, if I said I actually like that game even without playing it, that should tell you how low my opinion of this game is right now. I was kind of having fun with complaining about this, but now I don't care. This is just terrible. So if this goes on for much longer, Digital Homicide will have put some games together better than this. Because at the very least, you can play Slaughtering Grounds. It's a shitty game, but you can still play it. It doesn't stick at the opening screen. So many examples learned from terrible MMO launches, and it still happens. It's simple. You take whatever you estimate the player base is going to be, say, 6 months after the game launches. Then double or triple the server capacity from that, and you might be able to actually handle the server traffic on the first day of launch. Then when you don't need those servers anymore, you retire them, save them for other games you're going to release. It's not that hard. Yet, even a fairly competent publisher fucks it up. I was really hoping this game would actually be more entertaining than this. But then again, getting kicked in the nuts is more entertaining than this, because at least something happens with that. That my character actually thinks, I'd imagine. He's probably thinking the same thing I am. Can we get on with the murdering? This isn't actually the first MMO I've tried to do a first impressions video on. I tried to do it with Echo Soul a while back. It was actually going pretty well too. Until I tried looking up something, clicked on a link in Steam. The Steam overlay, mind you, not... I was opening up a topic and I think one of the guides, I'm not entirely certain what. Then the, for lack of a better term, anti-piracy program, for some reason thought it was a malicious program, crashed the game, lost me my footage, and now I can't use Shadowplay on that game anymore. Needless to say, I was quite pissed. It was a pretty good first impressions too, because like the first few enemies I killed gave me better equipment than I started with. If I remember right, it was even better than the quest rewards. That game did have one interesting mechanic, sort of like this, which is probably why I'm thinking about it. Because this has the class and path thing, which I don't really think anyone else has done it before, but to be honest, I'm pretty sure there's MMOs I haven't played, so I might be wrong. And Echo Soul had I think they were just souls, I'm not entirely certain what they were called entirely. But enemies would drop a sort of secondary currency, which were basically corrupted souls. At outposts and towns and all that, there was a little thing to let you purify them. And then it gave you a number of them based on how many of the corrupted souls you had. Then you could either use those for crafting as a temporary buff. I think there's something else to use it for, but I found it kind of interesting. the game itself was atrociously boring, and the economy was just incompetently put together. It was just atrocious. Thankfully, this game has not yet hit that point, but it's getting pretty damn close. It'd be nice if it actually fucking did something. I've been sitting here for over 15 fucking minutes waiting for this game to actually move past the character creation screen. You know, I mentioned Hellgate Global earlier. Okay, there's server problems. Those were excusable. You know, mediocre Korean developer, T3 Fun, game that hadn't been really touched in 2-3 years, maybe if that, maybe longer. This, on the other hand, this has been out for at least a year, maybe 2. Fairly competent publisher. And this shit is still happening. I'm still waiting. You know, if I ever get any sort of internet fame, I'm gonna tell people to stay away from this shit, because this is just fucking terrible. But this isn't the worst part. This is the same publisher that's going to be doing Blade and Soul later. If this is what happens the first day of a mediocre free-to-play, basically WoW clone comes out, what's going to happen when that game comes out? One that a lot of people are actually looking forward to, myself included. That game's going to get fucking hammered. And if NCSoft doesn't pull their shit together and actually figures this out, does this competently for that game, it's going to be scarred because they could not fucking get enough servers together to actually handle the first day. It's just, I can't even get angry about it. It's just so depressing, it's not funny. All it does is cause fucking apathy in me. The same apathy I get for Colonial Marines. Because that was one game I wish I could have gotten pissed about. I didn't bother with any of the footage from E3 or before the game came out. I'm not a fan of Aliens, so I couldn't get hooked on the lore and how that got completely borked. The best I could do was it's a mediocre first-person shooter with a fairly badly put together plot, predictable, boring characters. It's just impossible for me to really give a damn about it because it's just so bland and boring. I mean, on that note, I despise Gears of War because of how shitty the characters are, but that I at least have some emotion about, especially considering Cole's there. He's the only character actually worth a damn. But it just makes me sad, if anything, because it's like a game I'm actually looking forward to. It's going to be done by the same publisher. I'm pretty goddamn sure it's going to be as ineptly and incompetently handled as this was. Let's hope it actually works tomorrow. I'd like to play this a bit. I'm speechless right now. I lost connection with the server because of their own fucking incompetence. Blade and Soul, I really hope you are good, because if you're not, this shit's gonna bury you before you even come out.